Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here and welcome back to Forza Horizon 4. Now, this video is not going to feature face cam throughout. It is going to feature face cam right here in the beginning, and then throughout the rest of the video it is going to be purely commentary over the gameplay. The reason for that is because there are a lot of things in this video that I want you guys to see in full perspective. I want you guys to see the entire screen. I don't want anything to be blocked out. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. So, welcome back to Forza Horizon 4. Now, in this particular video, the main thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you guys around the train yard. The train yard, we're going to be doing like just some kind of like drifting around, sliding around, having some fun in this Escort Cosworth, which, by the way, this car sounds wonderful. It is one of the craziest cars, sound-wise, to be reintroduced into the game. It's absolutely tremendous, the sound of this car. Every time you let off the throttle, cracks, pops, bangs, burbles, everything comes out of the exhaust pipe. Absolutely just every single sound you could imagine. And it took me a little while to get it, but that ramp, if you hit it just right, you either will jump up here onto the roof or you will spawn up there. Now, if you hit it with speed, you'll pretty much just shoot all the way through the roof and just rocket out into a field. But if you hit it with a small amount of speed, you'll land on the roof. And a lot of people are like, okay, well, what's the point of that? Well, the whole point of that, at least to me, in my opinion, is that it's just a fun area to play around with. And it could also give you an opportunity to get some really weird, cool pictures. And, you know, that might not be something that would be very useful for people that aren't really into, like, you know, taking pictures in Forza and stuff like that. But for the people that do want to know how to get onto crazy, weird areas, you know, how to get onto the roof of the train station is definitely an interesting one. Now, another thing is, you know, you got to make sure you don't like teeter your car over the edge. But later on in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys the greatest view in Forza Horizon 4, or at least one of the greatest views in the game, where you're basically looking over the world from the edge of the map. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's so beautiful. And starting off here, I was just kind of like messing around, driving around this train yard, and I was like, eventually, I was like, you know what? I'm going to head for the mountains, because number one, I wanted to, and number two, I was like, I mean, I'm in at least one of the most off-road worthy cars that we had access to at the time. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just go. And also, since basically, you know, what we were able to play in the full game was very similar to what we were seeing in the demo, but not necessarily from like a freedom perspective, but pretty much the actual like direction of the story that we were seeing, you know, from the demo versus the beginning of the full game. I figured, since you guys have already pretty much seen that stuff, I was going to show you guys things that were completely different and completely new, and stuff that you definitely haven't seen before, like these areas of the map or the edge of the map and things like that. So with that being said, you want to hit this jump at roughly like 50 to 60 miles an hour. About 55 to 60 should do. And then from there, you pretty much have the whole roof like at your disposal. As long as you don't fall off or fall through the roof, you could pretty much go wherever you want. Now, again, will this advance your, you know, driving skill or your placement on some leaderboard? No, absolutely not. But is it fun? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I love the Horizon games, that you could just go and do random fun stuff. And, like, why would you, first of all, why would you not? And secondly, it just opens you up to so many new, weird, quirky possibilities within the game. That, like, say, for example, if you were playing hide-and-seek with a friend, and you got up there, and he had no idea how to get up there, I mean, they had no idea how to get up there, then you would pretty much be set. Like, you would legitimately be pretty much set as far as, you know, as far as hiding. And by the time, you know, they figured out where you were, they would either be like so tired of trying to look for you that they would have run off, or they would just get so frustrated and mad because they would have heard your car the whole time, and you would just be chilling up there on the roof. So, I don't know. It's a fun area to play around with, and it's a fun area to kind of, you know, just really mess around and play around with the car. But the biggest thing that I love about this area is that it's just there's so many different levels. You know what I mean? There's so many different levels, and really the roof is kind of a hidden level. So that kind of adds to the atmosphere, I think, of it. So once you leave that train yard, you pretty much, because I was like, at that point I knew I wanted to head to the mountains. So I was going to turn around and head straight for them. Now, I did not plan this, but I pretty much decided to, like, the second I saw the train tracks, I was like, oh yeah, that's 100% the way to go. So I took the train tracks and stayed pretty much right on them all the way across this train bridge and everything like that, all the way out to the mountains themselves, and ended up going literally just pointing my car straight at the mountains and keeping it floored. So it's actually, there's a lot more, like, distance here on the mountains than you think there is. There's a lot more mountain to drive on than you think there is. And when you see the roads in the game, you think, oh, okay, well, so I have to go there to get to the top of the mountain or go here to go to the top of the mountain. You can really get to the top of the mountain however you please. Genuinely however you please. And once you get over this main mountain range and then down into the other side, you can climb this other one. And I don't think really anybody has really ever shown that mountain being climbed, but you can still climb it. It's definitely one of those things that, like, whenever I saw it in the preview gameplay, like on the live streams and everything, I was like, I wonder if you can climb that. And I was pleased to find out that you absolutely 100% can. And when I found out that you 100% could, I just pushed and pushed and pushed and went as high as I absolutely could. And it paid off because it resulted in one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen in a Forza game to date. Like, no question about it. The absolute... I don't know if it's the most beautiful view, but it's definitely up there. Well, you know what? I take that back. Probably the most beautiful view that I've ever seen in a Forza game. Right there, right in front of my face, and just gorgeous, really. Like, I look out at it, I'm like, you know what, dude? That's just so beautiful. Like, I couldn't help but just stare at it. And in the process of just staring at it, I was like, man, like... this game is special. Like, it was just one of those moments to me that I was like, this game is really, really special, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to the community. And because, again, I know I keep going back to how, you know, I wanted more mountains. The community wanted more mountains. We all wanted more mountains. And that was pretty much as far as I could go, like, right here. But then I turned around, and I just had to stop and just look. Because once my car stopped sliding, dude, absolute just... like, the level of detail that goes into a view like that is just so absolutely insane that I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? You know what? This is, like, this is what games have come to. This is what racing games have come to. This is what driving games have come to. A view like that would not have been possible even, like, a couple of years ago. And to see it here and to see it, like, in a living, breathing world is just so special. And it not only shows how far racing games have come, but it shows how far the Forza series and the Forza Horizon series in particular has come. So seeing that was a very big deal to me, and I think it just was one of those things where I was just like, bro, that the level at which these games are at now is just tremendous. It's absolutely freaking tremendous. And I think not only is this going to be a memorable game for the gameplay and the world, but this is going to be a memorable game for the memories you'll create with your friends. Because if you, like, if that was special to me, just driving up there by myself, imagine what that's going to be like driving up there with a bunch of friends in all of your, like, you know, your cars that you built yourselves, and that you're, you know, you're just tearing up the side of this mountain, and you get to the top and you look over the edge and you're like, wow, we just climbed that mountain. And that's a feeling that when you do it by yourself, it's awesome, but when you share that with friends, it's even more special. So I think that's where Forza Horizon 4 is going to shine, not just in the gameplay department, but in the social department. And these roads, dude, these roads are just absolutely off the charts incredible. Absolutely off the charts incredible. And man, I'll tell you something. Every single time I either play the demo or think about the time that I had with the full game, or rewatch the footage that I had with the full game, it just makes me that much more excited for the full game itself to be released. And I think that's saying something, because very few games have made me feel that way before, and Forza Horizon 4 is definitely up there, and it's definitely on the list. And I think that at this point, there's so much to be excited about with this game that you can't really put it into, like, one sentence, you know, what everybody's excited about. Like, at least for me, I'm excited about everything from the drifting to the customization to the off-road to, like, the openness of the world. That's the thing, too, is, like, it doesn't feel like there's any... you don't feel restricted. You don't feel like there's any, you know, any unspoken, you know, invisible walls. And really, you know, it's more like if you can't drive somewhere, it's specifically because you just can't drive there because the rocks are too jagged or because, you know, there's too big of a body of water or whatever it is. Like, you don't feel like anything is genuinely blocked off. And that's a really awesome feeling because that makes the world feel so much more alive, and you don't feel confined to these ribbons of road. You more feel like you really are in a massive living, breathing world, and the season changes only add to that. So with so many different things out there in this game, and so many different things, honestly, that we touched on in this video, this is what I wanted to end it on. This is the new mud. And honestly, it's not quite like as deep as it would be. I'm pretty sure it would be deeper in autumn. But driving around on it, you can see how not only does it deform around the tires and deform around the car, but it also gets filled with water, which I think is a really cool thing. So once you actually flatten out the mud, the water flows in and takes up that space. So I think that that's another important point to hit on, because when you're thinking about it like that, you think about not only is this mud deformable and is this terrain deformable, but you have the water physics that also will flow into the mud, and that's way more advanced than any mud physics we've seen in really any racing game so far. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to slam that like button. Tell me in the comments below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later.